We are now in the opening hours of the Sabbath rest, and the reading that we have just had reminds us of the universality of this entry into time apart. The Gospel is bringing blessings and spreading through the whole world. There is a hymn which is often sung at Vespers, which has that verse, "As all continent and island, the dawn is on another day. The voice of prayer is never silent, nor dies the strain of praise away." And one can see it if one looks, as it were, from the air. The earth is turning, and therefore sun is hitting different points as time goes on. And the holy sacrifice of the Mass itself is always being offered because of the differentiation in when dawn hits us. There is a vast area of the earth, of course, which is not inhabited, all that which is sea, essentially, and then there are huge areas of desert. That's but to think of Australia. But globally speaking, we are one of a family, and it is something which, if one looks at it with an angel's vision, is only partial, for the majority is actually on the other side, and we are only a tiny fraction compared with all those who have been and therefore are, but somewhere else. A very large number, therefore, of human material, of angels and saints and whatever on the other side, and we are thinking that we are all that is. But the truth is not that way. So as we have a day of retreat, a moment of reflection, we do well to stand outside the globe for a few seconds and to look on. So as the sun goes down here, and in an ancient monastic setting one tends still to honour the beginning of the Shabbat with the lighting of those candles. That goes right back to the early church, the Lucernarium, in which once again the chapel becomes bright with the glory of the resurrection. So too we think about this gift which the Lord has programmed in our time, and it is ours to be claimed. We have the right over the Shabbat, which simply means rest. As you know, Hebrew words come from a verb of 3 consonants. Shabbat is just to rest, and then it becomes the Sabbath itself. But we must claim that, and it is important that we, in the first instance, honour the well-ordered programming of our week given by the Master of Time himself, who rested from his work. If that is not there, then our time is out of order. And it is not enough just to somehow over the weekend fit in a celebration and to live, as it were, the Sunday itself as a free day. Benedict XVI commented on that one time, that it was actually an aberration of the notion of the observance of the Sunday in the Christian sense to get it over and done with on the Saturday evening and then to have a day without God. And that has crept in. It's a mentality of minimalism which people aren't aware of, even though they're living it from week in to week out. And it's actually not enough, because if Sunday itself then is without a moment of resting, where is our pause? And that's the way the devil likes to have us, without a pause. So then we need to ask ourselves, on a daily basis, are there pauses? First of all, is there a consistent pause, that inbuilt retreat given to us by the Maker over the weekend, which does of course begin now at the setting of the sun on Saturday? And I mean a consistent one, because traditionally it's actually there, part of our heritage, that it's not just a day of non-work. The work servile, of course, servile work is, that expression goes back to the Constantinian peace, the Edict of Milan, when in 312 it was no longer possible to make the slaves work. In other words, there was a Christianization of the calendar at that point. Christianity became the social religion as well, which would change the nature of life. Therefore, slaves too we're not to be obliged to work. Servile therefore comes from that, and our work, which imitates the works of slaves on a Sunday, is precisely going against the whole spirit of what we have as our privilege. Because remember that it was very early on that Sunday became the Christian Sabbath, but actually it is taking on board the baggage of where we're coming from, that there was one day out of 7 given to mankind. It would have been therefore Saturday, and the word Sabbath is there in most European languages. It's not in ours. We have still the Saturn coming into it, a pagan god. Go to other countries, Sunday, Sabbath, and so on. It's there, built into the language itself. That goes back to the Hebrew origin. And then, of course, we have still got the pagan sun on our Sunday, but then go on to the other languages, Domenica and so on, it's Dimanche, it's all this coming from the day of the Lord. Dominica, Dominus is the Lord, so again it's there, and it's Kyriake in Greek. Kyrios is Greek, and then you've got the notion that that was our right. But where are we now in Ireland? And it's kind of grave, because even Christian societies, Catholic organisations like the GAA are putting right in the middle of Sunday morning important events, and that is splitting up the family. And it's not good, because if you go to the Holy Land, you see how in the Jewish context the whole family is involved in a timetable, and it's all structured around that. And it's very edifying to see, even though it's not the fullness of our faith. Nevertheless, they have some kind of faith, and it's very seriously worked out in their calendar, in their time. God is honoured in time and in the society structure which they have, and therefore in the family. And the families are important out there. That's something to be borne in mind, that it is important that actually our faith, especially if one is engaged in a family, does work itself out in the life of the family. If you are offering your gift at the altar, and remember that your brother has something against you, leave your offering there before the altar, go and be reconciled with your brother first, and then come and present your offering. Hallelujah. My soul glorifies the Lord, my spirit rejoices in God my Saviour. He looks on his servant in her lowliness, henceforth all ages will come with blessing. The Almighty wants marvels from me, for he is in. His mercy is from age to age, all those who fear him. He puts forth his own strength, and settles the proud-hearted. He calls the mighty from their thrones, and raises the lowly. He fills the starving with good things, sets the rich away empty. He protects his rivers, his children, remembering his mercy. The mercy promised to our fathers, to Abraham and his sons forever. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. If you are offering your gift at the altar, and then remember that your brother has something against you, leave your offering there before the altar, and go and be reconciled with your brother first, and then come and present your offering. Hallelujah.